My name is Jeanette Correia.
I'm Catherine Burke.
And I'm the Deputy Principal at Oakley House High School, and I've asked Catherine to come back and have a chat with us. She matriculated last year and she's worked really hard, and I wanted to just have a conversation with her about what she feels got her through school and to matric. I'll start off by asking you, how long were you at Oakley?
I was at Oakley since 2013 when I moved to schools in halfway through grade 2 because my old school just the curriculum wasn't working for me, and Oakley was my best option for me.
What were some of your challenges when it came to academics? What were some of your struggles? Maybe you can share that with us.
I struggled with focusing for long periods of time, and I just didn't seem to me then, but I was like, okay, this is just something that's happened and I'll get past it. And I was very young, so I didn't see that it was quite a problem. And I was behind in work. I wasn't really getting what was going on in class and not really understanding what was being taught. And I think my parents started seeing this and like, okay, we need to do something about it. When I got a bit older and being at Oakley, I saw, okay, my anxiety and my stress levels was one of the main struggles that I had, definitely when it came to doing like projects or assignments, especially during exam time. My anxiety really got to me and would kind of cloud up my mind, and the work that I would know kind of just left and I didn't know what to do.
At Oakley, we make a big thing about effort. You'll remember all the assemblies where Mr. Buchanan stood up and spoke about how important it is to put effort into your work.
Yes.
In your journey at Oakley, did you ever feel like giving up or going somewhere else? And then what did you do when you actually felt that, when that feeling of I can't and I just want to not come to school or go somewhere else? How did you deal with that?
This grade 9, I think. Yeah, in grade 9, and there was one point where I felt like nothing was going my way. I wasn't getting anything, especially with maths. I just wasn't understanding what I was doing and what was being taught. And I didn't understand why I didn't get it. And I just like, oh, what's happening? Why am I getting this? Everyone else is doing it. Why can't I do it? And I just didn't want to do it anymore. And it was early in the year and I still had the rest of the year to do it before I could move to Mass Lit. And I didn't want to do it. And I told my parents, and my parents said, we just got to keep going. We'll be by your side. You just got to keep going. And I was like, okay, I need to. And then I just tried to change my mindset and say, okay, you're not fantastic at it, but just try your best. And when I started to feel like giving up again, I was just, okay, I tried to cloud my mind with other positive things, like what I was good at, and didn't focus on maths being my down point.
So you had strategies like positive talk, focusing on the things that you could do well.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of support from your parents.
Yes, and teachers, of course.
You referred to grade 9, and I actually remember that time really well.
Yes.
I remember conversations between me, Mr. Correia, and your parents about the possibility of you moving out of Oakley House and going to a TVET college.
Yes.
We talked about that, we researched it, we connected with the college. And actually, you decided that you were not going to go there.
Yeah.
So you were going to complete your FET at Oakley House High School, and you were determined, and I use that word because that's exactly what you were, to get a matric.
Yes.
What made you so determined to get a grade 12, to get a matric?
Well, first off, I remember my parents sat with me and said, we can see that your struggles and you don't have to get a matric. You can leave after grade 9 if that's easier and then go do something that you enjoy. And I was like, okay. And they said, just think about that. And then when they talked to me about going to like their school, like the school open days on the weekend, I was like, okay, they just said keep an open mind to see what they offer in case. And I was like, okay. And I went and I was like, there were things that they offered that really I liked, and it's like, okay, this seems really cool. But afterwards I really started to think, and I was like, I don't want to move, because I know everything at Oakley. I know everybody, the teachers know me, they know my struggles, they know what I'm good at, and they know how to help me. And I didn't want to have that regret when I was older that I never got a matric. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I want to do it.
So you were determined?
Yes.
So do you think a determined mindset is part of success?
Yes, definitely.
So as we look at your FET, your grades 10 to 12,
yes.
What were a few challenges you faced there? Specifically content of work, or just what were some of the challenges?
Content. I definitely could see that the content was a bit more in depth, because you do take lesser subjects, and there was a bit more. You got a lot more in one day, and you'll get a whole bunch in a week, and then there'd be a lot to study for exams that I could see. I was like, okay, you got to kind of time everything out and not leave everything for one day, because then it just makes you stress even more. The content, I think, especially for my business lessons, even though the work was helped, there was a lot, and there was a lot to do and to learn, but I didn't try to let it get to me. It's like, oh well, this is like overpowering, this is way too much. And I think with my history classes, there was just two of us, so the work we worked through the content slowly.
So you had a lot of support in class?
Yes, definitely.
And then I asked you before we started here, if you were going to give someone a studying tip, what would it be?
Studying tip, learning something new on like one day at school. When you get home, like do the work that you need to that's due the next day and everything, but then just quickly skim over or revise the work that you had done that day, so it doesn't completely leave your mind and it's brand new when you have to study for exams. Because if you leave it, then it's like way too much, you can stress, and it's just, so revising the work that you've done that day, I feel like that's a very good way to study.
Yes, I think that's an excellent study tip. And I've asked you about challenges.
Yes.
If you had to narrow it down to one single challenge, what was your hardest challenge?
I think learning not to compare myself to others. And saying, I'm different, everyone's different, we're not all the same, everyone has different things that they are good at, and the things they're good at I might not be too well at, and the things I'm good at they might not be too well at. So I think all the way to my last year, I just, especially I think in earlier years, I compared myself a lot. And I was like, why can't I get it? Why everyone else is doing it? Like, is something wrong? So, comparing myself.
Okay, that's a really good thing to focus on. Yeah, I just wanted to say that as you gave that very good study tip to people, I think what you've just said is so important. Never compare yourself to anyone else. We all get there.
Yeah.
We might take a different route to get there.
Yes.
Your parents giving you the freedom to choose and saying to you that if you wanted to do something, an alternative form of schooling, they would support you. I think you making use of study tips like going over your work the new work
Yes.
every day, learning not to compare yourself.
Yeah.
All of those are really important aspects of why you were so successful.
Yeah,
You
thank
got
you.
a fantastic matric,
Thank
a
you.
bachelor's pass, and we are so proud of you.
Thank you.
And my final question to you is, what would you say to someone who's really struggling academically and feels like there's just no hope?
Let them know that they're not alone. There are people who are going through the same feelings that they are, and even if it feels like there's no one that's supporting them, there always is. And there's always someone to talk to. And if you feel like nothing is right, the school offers counselling, which is a very big help. Personally, also for me, it was a big help. I had counselling, and every 2 weeks I would go, and I just really did help to just let go of what was happening, not being judged for what I was feeling. And it's not always like this. You will get better. You will have better days, and one day you'll look back and say, wow, why did I feel like that? Keep thinking positive. Try not to look at the negativity all the time, and be around people who support you and who will just say, you can do this, and pushing you to do your best. That also really does help. So.
Thank you so much for your time, Catherine. I
Thank
think
you.
what I've taken from this, and I've been teaching for a very long time, is be positive and surround yourself with positive people.
Yes.
One day at a time.
Yes.
Don't look too far ahead. Is there anything you want to add? One last statement that is Catherine Burke. Is there anything you could think of?
Don't compare yourself to others. You're your own person. You're unique, and what you can do is what you can do. And don't do something that you know that you won't be able to do, because you're just going to feel like giving up the whole time. And there are areas that you will do fantastic at, and you just got to believe in yourself. Don't look at the end of your exams as oh, there's finals, they're scary. It's finals, and if you go over past papers, they really do help, and you guys got this.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you.